What is up, church family? Welcome back to Zoom Calls with Marc. Obviously, if you haven't figured out yet, I'm Marc, and you're stuck with me for the whole conversation. The last three conversations we've had have been absolutely phenomenal. We've talked with Pastor Brando, as we like to call him, talking about worship ministry. We talked with Aaron and Sarah Taylor about infertility and embryo adoption. And just this last week, we talked with Pastor Sway Valilla, which is a friend of Southside. He's preached there many times, collegiate ministry at Notre Dame, also church planner, phenomenal story. But tonight, we're back with our own church people because we got to talk with our church folks about stuff that's happening in our church. So tonight, I'm sitting down with the one and only, some of y'all might know her as Coco the housewife, but if you're on Instagram, you have no idea what I'm talking about. But I'm sitting down with Nicole Haubold, not Haubold, like what a lot of people say. It's Haubold.
No, it's how bold.
How bold?
Like, how bold are you?
Do you want me to answer that question?
No, that's how you pronounce it. How bold.
I feel like I'm like, what's up, how bold? Like, I don't know.
No, just how. Like the word H-O-W. Like,
well,
how.
Either way, we're here with Nicole Haubold of the Haubold residence.
It's fine. This is a great opportunity to set the record straight because I never correct people when they say it wrong. So
wait, do you really not?
I don't. I just let them say whatever they want. Everybody is like the Haubolds, and I'm like, sure.
I've been saying the Haubold since I've known you for the last 2 or 3 years. Like, that's fine. Not okay. It's not fine. And Megan, your daughter, doesn't even correct me. So we have a little success. Which, by the way, she won Chipotle with the youth group. Well, tonight for date of recording. So she's going to get some Chipotle for lunch because that's what we do in the student ministry. But either way, we don't want to talk about Megan. We'll just leave her over there. So tell us about you, Nicole, because as we mentioned, we've been kind of teasing this a little bit. You oversee the Sunday morning kids ministry. But before we even get into that, we first got to figure out who on earth is Nicole Haubold.
Yeah, so I am 28 years old. I am a homeschool mom, and I'm also a foster mom. And my husband, Micah, we got married when we were young. I think I was 20 and he was 22. And we just kind of started doing the adult thing, had children, and
started doing the adult thing.
The normal. And I always just kind of knew I wanted to be a mom and I wanted to raise my family at home. And I really just felt like that was just my calling and my place to be. And he serves in our military and he's a super cool guy. I love that guy.
Well, all of us do. Yeah. Everybody in the small group has a crush on Micah Haubold.
Yep, he's adorable. You can't not have a crush on him. But yeah, so we started going to Southside. Or I guess I should talk about how I was saved. So I was saved when I was 14 in church. I was impacted a lot by our youth program at our church. And I definitely have just a big respect for all people in ministry because of that. But that's just how I came to know Christ, was just through the adults that were in my life there. And I was always just kind of wanting to impact kids in that way myself. And specifically my own children. It really got me thinking about how I wanted to raise my kids to know the Lord and really to give them a good, solid theology foundation that they could branch off of and grow their faith on, because I didn't really have that. And so, yeah.
So let me ask, you mentioned, you decided to follow Jesus when you were 14. Did you grow up in church since you were a baby, or did you start going around that age to church?
No, my parents were kind of like off and on church people. And then that church specifically, they were hurt by some people in the church and then they ended up leaving. So, I was pretty devastated. And then I actually didn't go back to church again until I was an adult and I was married. It was just kind of like this weird, when you're young and you're a teenager and you don't know what church to go to if your family's not going to one. So there's definitely a long pause, I think, in my faith and in growing my faith, but it was always there. And I would do what I could at home, but it's hard to do when you don't really have any guidance or direction in that.
So you decided to follow just when you're 14. There's a bit of a gap, and then you and Micah got married, and then you guys started going to church, a different local church in the Michiana area. So
Yes.
when did you guys wound up landing at Southside? And I guess why?
So we actually moved to the south side of South Bend. We used to live further north. And so when we moved, we just really wanted to find a church home that we could really be a part of. All the churches we had tried before just never really felt like home, and they were too big or they were too small, and we just never really found a place that was a good foundation for our kids. That's what we wanted. I love the big churches, but I really was drawn to Southside because I wanted to know that, like, if I were to drop my kids off at youth group or for AWANA, that I knew all the people in the building and that my kids were going to be safe. And so that was a really big thing for me. I also really enjoy that the children are in Sunday service, because I think that's so huge and so impactful on our kids to have them in service on Sundays.
So that was, remind me, how many years ago?
Oh, sorry, like 3 years ago.
3 years ago. So now, I mean, you came to
probably like 4 years.
Is it really been 4 years?
Yeah.
Dang. If
because
time
we
could
bought
slow
this
down a
house in
little bit,
like
that'd be nice.
2016.
Life needs to slow down. I mean, I guess quarantine's kind of slowed it down, but but time needs to slow down. That's for sure. So you wound up coming to Southside. I mean, because of, a lot of various aspects, but stuff for your kids obviously is one of those. And then a couple years later, all of a sudden you're in charge of Sunday morning kids ministry. Like, how on earth did that happen?
I don't really know. I just any opportunity that I could to serve the church, I was down to do. I love to be around my kids, but I also love Pastor Scott and Laura's heart for sharing the gospel with kids at such a young age. I said eggs. At such a young age. And they, even as babies, were sharing the gospel with the babies and teaching them about Jesus, and getting to serve in toddlers and share the gospel with the toddlers. And a lot of them have a very firm grasp on the whole thing, which is so shocking to me. I don't think I realized how much kids could understand. And so just wanting to be a part of that and wanting to reach the community and reach the kids and be able to share the gospel with them has been awesome. And then I started serving in AWANA, and those are kids that don't even attend our church. A lot of those kids weren't even church members anywhere. I don't even really think their parents probably had a grasp of what they were sending them to, but we got to reach those kids and tell them about Jesus that they probably weren't hearing about at home. And then when I realized that me sharing the gospel with kids was helping my kids share the gospel with kids, that was pretty powerful for me, because I remember one day I had a friend who was like, "Hey, I just wanted to let you know, we were on a hike, and when we go on these hikes, we get all separated." And she was like, "Jake was walking with his friend, and he was asking him if he knew who Jesus was and like how much he loved him." And I was just like trying not to cry.
It's okay.
But that's kind of what sealed the deal for me. They're like, yeah, this is a big ministry. And Laura asked me to be on children's team, and I was down, and I was completely ready to jump in and help her with anything that they needed. And and then one day she was like, "Hey, do you want to do this?" And I was like, "Yeah, let's do it. I have a lot of really fun ideas that I think could be awesome."
So let's jump to that then. We'll even jump a couple questions ahead. What are some fun things? No, I should say this. Okay, so we have a little bit of differentiation in our church between AWANA program and Sunday morning kids ministry. They're pretty much completely separate.
Right.
Awana is more the Bible verse outreach focus, and Sunday morning is more for our kids. So for parents who obviously have their kids involved in our children's ministry, they know they drop off the kid to Sunday school and that's it. But what are we trying to do Sunday morning with our kids ministry, both with teaching the kids, but also coming alongside parents to help them as well?
I think that the curriculums that Laura has chosen have really, and Stephanie, I think Stephanie helped her with that, but I think that because they bring everything back to the gospel, every Bible story, they bring it back to Christ. And I think that gives kids opportunities to ask questions. And I know my own kids have come home and been like, hey, this story, it relates back to Christ. Like, he was telling us Christ was coming before he even came, and how cool they think that is. And so I hope that starts conversations at home and makes kids feel more comfortable talking about God with their parents. And yeah, I really love how the gospel is like the center focus in our children's ministry. I mean, it really is for the whole church, but especially in the children's ministry, they hear the gospel every time they're in the room.
And that's kind of the heart. I mean, obviously, it should be the heartbeat of every church, but that's been the heartbeat of Scott and Laura for years. So just out of curiosity, are there any things that you think you guys are wanting to try with Sunday morning kids? Maybe some new steps, new ideas, new plans, just some fun things that you would like to see happen in the kids ministry.
Obviously I always have a bunch of ideas. I don't know how many of them will come to fruition, but I think it would be really great. First of all, just we've kind of been working on reworking the whole check-in process and all of that. And so I just want to keep implementing that. And that's really just for security. But as far as the kids go, I think it would be really fun to create a play space for them where they can hang out before and after service. Or gosh, I thought about doing like a prayer wall where they can just kind of like anonymously set up their prayer requests for the children's team to pray for them. Because sometimes that's hard for kids to know who to ask for and what to ask for. And I thought that would be really fun. I thought about doing outdoor movie nights for the community, for the kids. And gosh, I have so many ideas floating around in my head.
And even ideas with Easter. I mean, we had a few that we were hoping to try this year that didn't really happen.
I know.
Thanks, Rona.
Next year.
Rona, yeah, now you're sounding like the Cubs with that one. You're totally sounding like the Cubs with that one. But let me ask you this too. So kids ministry is probably one of the most staffed areas in our church. Kids ministries pretty much has been the focus of Scott and Laura's ministry the last 20 years. Are there still places that people could step in and help, or are there areas where there's still places to serve, or are we kind of set in the kids min land?
Yeah, we always need people to serve in children's ministry. People get tired and people need breaks. There are people that have been faithfully serving forever. In more than one place, we have a lot of people that will serve Sunday school and Sunday morning on the same week. And we have some people that serve Sunday school every week. And they love it. But I think it would be really great if we could have more people, so that way people wouldn't have to serve as often. I would really like to see it be, they could serve once every 2 months, and then people wouldn't feel so, I don't know, they wouldn't get burnout as fast. I really think we could use people to kind of organize our check-in system better. That's an area we've just been focusing on recently, but I think getting a a team put together specifically for the children's ministry check-in desk would be amazing. So if anyone wants to do that,
well, explain the vision behind that. I mean, now that you bring up the check-in, like I know that specifically, we've talked a lot about that with trying to figure out how to solve some of these issues. But how specifically do you envision that working?
I think it would be really great if when people come in our doors with their kids, we not only greet the parents and make them feel comfortable and walk them through our check-in process, because even though it seems so trivial to us because we know everybody, new families, they don't know everybody. And so they want to know that their kids feel safe. And so that's really what the check-in process is. They want to know that not just anybody can come pick up their kid. And so I think just really streamlining that and getting everybody on board with that. And then I really think it would be fun to have a gift or something for the new kids, so that way they feel welcome. And just, they will always remember our church, and they're like, hey mom, remember that one church we went to? They gave us that, you know what I mean? Like something that just that extra step is something I would really like to do. But I just
kind
want
of show
people
parents
to feel
that we
welcome.
care about you and we love your kids too, and we don't even know you yet.
Yeah. And I want them to feel welcome, but I don't want them to feel bombarded. You know, it's stressful going to a new church. I want where the classrooms are to feel really clear, and to have the check-in team willing to walk them to their kids' classrooms, and walk them through understanding when their kids go to class versus when they sit in service first, or just all of that. And I just want it to be really easy to understand, and I want parents to feel comfortable leaving their kids with us.
I like it. So we need people to relieve people of various teaching responsibilities. The welcome team, I guess, is the best way to put it, like the welcome and check-in and greeting team for the kids ministry. Any other areas that you are thinking, yeah, we could really use some help in this area?
I mean, obviously we always need AWANA teachers. That's not even my jurisdiction, but we always need AWANA helpers, and we always need VBS volunteers. Those are huge outreach ministries that we do as a church. And if you want to help out in any way, definitely contact Laura about those.
And so if someone wants to get involved with Sunday morning kids ministry specifically, is there a process? Is there a step that they need to take to reach out to you to get involved?
Yeah, they can mark on the Connect card that they're interested in serving. They can come find me directly. I am always willing to talk to people. We do have a background check we do on all of our volunteers, and that's for security purposes. We have a child handbook safety policy that that you have to read and sign, just verifying that you understand the rules. Again, all for safety for the kids. And then, yeah, we will put you on with somebody for the first 2 times that you serve to like train you and kind of show you how it's done. And then we'll put you in a spot. And it is great because we have people in the same spot every month. So you always know you're going to be serving the first Sunday or the third Sunday, and you always know when to expect it.
I like it. And we got everything from baby to toddlers to all the way through, all the way through 6th grade. I can't say that word. I say it like it's Star Wars, Sith Lords. But through 6th grade, we also have children's church, too, during service up through kindergarten. Is that right? On Sunday mornings?
Yes.
Cool. So we have lots of opportunities for people to serve, is basically what you're saying.
Yep.
Cool beans. Well, hey, before I let you go, Nicole, is there anything else about kids ministry that maybe we've missed talking about that you'd like to say?
I don't think so. It really is an awesome place to serve. The kids are the future of our church and of our world. And again, it goes back to teaching them, us sharing the gospel with them teaches them to share the gospel with others. And that means when they're grown and they're an adult, hopefully we've given them the passion in their heart to want to share the gospel with others and the tools they need to do that, because I'm not even sure I knew how to share the gospel properly until I met Miss Laura Smith, and she taught me the ways, man. And now I feel like I can share it confidently with anyone. And
that's because you were involved with Kidsmen.
Right. I've shared the gospel with adult friends who I don't know if I ever would have actually done that. But when you work with the kids every Sunday and you're constantly sharing the gospel, it just gets easier and easier. And I think that sometimes that's one of those scary things about being a Christian, is feeling like, you need to reach people for Christ, but it's like, how, and what do I say without being weird? But teaching the kids, it makes it comfortable. And I've definitely grown in that area a lot since doing this.
Cool. I love it. Well, hey, Nicole, if someone wants to reach out to you directly about questions regarding Kidsmen, what's the best way for them to reach you? Besides the Connect card.
What?
Besides the Connect card.
Oh, they can also email me. They can call me or email me or reach me on Facebook. The email is kids@, what is it? Southside?
SBC.org.
Yep. Right. So, yeah, they can email me, and I would love to set them up with that.
Awesome. I love it. Well, hey, guys, if you have joined us for this far in the interview, again, we want to thank you for joining us with Zoom calls with yours truly. We have a couple more here that we're working on. We're working on them with the women's ministry and outreach team, and trying to get some other conversations ready to go for you guys. We have a lot of more fun things as we're trying to get through this quarantine, this social distancing whole ordeal together. We're going to get through it, people. We're going to get through it. But Nicole, thank you so much for joining us. It was awesome. So thank you.
Yep.
All right. We'll talk to you later.
All right.
Bye-bye.